All right, today we're going to go ahead and install the OPT-7 light bar that goes underneath the tailgate. We're going to do this for a couple of reasons. One, for safety. It's going to give more lighting during the day and the night to illuminate the back of the truck more, but also it has this reverse light bar inside of there which will light up the whole area so much more than just the regular lights. We're going to go ahead and go through the steps of how we're going to install it. Doesn't mean you have to do it this way, but this is our way. Feel free to follow along if you want. So first thing we're going to do is I got a multimeter out, and we're going to go ahead and find out which wire it goes to which, and we've got it set up for continuity, so when you hear the beep then you know we're touching the same wire. If you look on the back of the housing, and you can do this for any vehicle, whatever, it has a label and it shows you which pin goes to which wire. So for instance, I don't know if the camera's picking it up very well or not, but for park lamps it goes down here to this bottom plug right here. So if you follow the wire up and over, it says park lamps. So what you do is you open it up, you find the same one, and you'll touch it on the inside of here, and then you go to the back side and you'll touch it there. Whenever you touch it just like this, then you should hear and let you know that you have connected to the correct wire. Once you do that and you find out where all of these wires go, then you can make your connections and move on to the next step. So here's what I'm doing. I went ahead and the kit comes with this wire here. It comes with about 4 feet or so of the wire. I went ahead and kind of measured where I'm going to install it and cut it off underneath this tail off. Then I went in and I looked at the wires here and color coordinated it so that way I know which wires underneath the vehicle it goes to. They also supply you with these little crimp connectors. And I know these are not real efficient for keeping out water and everything, so this is what I do. I have some dielectric grease, and I'm going to squirt it inside of this little crimp here. Once I do that, then I'm going to go underneath the vehicle, slide this on the corresponding wire that matches with the color. I know these colors are not going to match the colors that we matched up with the pins, but that's why we made a little diagram to go off of. Anyways, we'll put this wire on here and then we'll connect it to the vehicle. Then using a pair of pliers, you pinch down like that and it makes connection in between the two wires, jumps it across, and then this cap comes over and closes off on top of it. Once we get them all connected with the dielectric grease and everything inside of it, I've got some automotive electrical tape that I'm going to wrap them up and everything to help keep moisture out of this system, so that way it stays good and dry and we don't ever have to worry about corrosion. So we'll go underneath the vehicle and show what it looks like doing one. Alright, so underneath the vehicle, this is the back of the plug housing, and I've already pulled this wire loom back so that we would have access to the wires. Going off of the pins on the front where the plug's at, then you come down here and you start pinning the wires. Once you get the wire touched, and if you get on the right pin just like this, then you should hear the beeping noise to let you know that you have continuity. So for instance, if you did the correct wire here to the correct pin on the other side, you'll hear the letting you know that you've got continuity. Putting a little grease inside of there to keep it watertight. And goes from there and go to the green wire. Try and do it so that way you guys can see without my big arm in the way. Once I get it on there, I'll show you a little better. Okay. That. And then we take the wire, slide it in like that. And once we get it in there like that, then you squeeze and make your knuckles pop. And then close the cap, just like this. And now we're going to do that for the remaining wires. Alright, so now that we've got our wire tied into the vehicle wiring underneath, we went ahead and we plugged it up and tested it. And when we tested everything worked except for the reverse light, and that's because we haven't hooked it up yet. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. So you see a little bit, a piece of blue tape here. What that is for is when we turned on the turn signal, it gave us the exact center of where the LEDs are. I like to make things as center as possible. To me, it just looks better. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to clean off underneath the tailgate. And according to the instructions, you've got to remove the tailgate to do this properly. I prefer to leave it on for one reason. And that reason is so that way I can judge how low to get it or how high to get it. So that way you get the best visual from a distance and everything. But once we get it cleaned off underneath the tailgate there on the vehicle, then we're going to wipe it down with this adhesion promoter that comes in the package. We're going to then line it up where we want it with the center underneath the tailgate. And then on the back side here, we're going to start on one corner. We're going to peel the red tape back, lightly stick it to the vehicle, pull the rest of the tape off in sections, keep it level, both north and south and east and west across the vehicle. And once we get the tape all the way off and it's lightly, and keyword lightly, pressed against the vehicle, we can make some minor adjustments at that time if we need to. If we don't, if we like it where it's at, then you can press firmly across the entire board to make sure that it makes complete contact with the vehicle body. Once that happens, this joker is going to be stuck on there. I've actually pulled them off before, but in doing so, it actually bends the light housing because it's all made out of aluminum. So just be careful where you stick it and make sure it's where you want it before you apply heavy pressure. So we'll go ahead and do that, and once we get this guy stuck on, then we'll go underneath and finish up the wiring, and I'll show you one thing that I had to do on the ground wire, and I'll explain that here in a second. But we'll come right back once this guy's stuck on the vehicle. Okay, so now we've got everything wired up. This is the wire that comes in the kit, and you can see that I went ahead and tied it into the vehicle wiring up here. If you notice the ground wire, I went up to the bed of the truck because the ground wire coming out of this plug is way too big for me to just tap into. Here in a second I'm going to zip tie everything up, but I want to show you what it looked like. So this is what it looks like here. Then this is the wire coming from the light bar. Once you do that, then you can plug it up just like so. The last wire that we had to connect was the reverse wire, and I'll explain this little concoction that we got going on here in a second. But you've got, this is the wire that comes from the light bar. It goes over the frame here, comes up right here, and if you look, I've got it tied into with a T-connector to where we can actually unplug it here, and it just disconnects like that. And it's on the green and white wire going into this plug here. And I did that so that way if I ever need to, I can just unplug it and it's easy to go. So coming back over here, let me get the light back over here so you can see. The reason why I did it like this, so let's get this stuff out of the way just so that way I can explain it. So that's going to be tied up out of the way. This is the white wire tied into the vehicle, and then this is your light bar wire. I've got it tied into one wire, and I'm just going to tie this up over to the side. And the reason is because I'm going to put in the lights for the reverse lights here in the bumper here in a few days. So now I've already got my wire tied into it. So I'm just going to tuck it up out of the way for now, and then whenever we go to install those lights, it'll be there for our power, and then all we have to do is add the ground. So this is what it looks like before, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like after I've zip tied everything up and made it look nice. Alright, so now everything is zip tied up. I went ahead and used the automotive grade electrical tape, wrapped up all my wires going where we spliced in. I don't know if you can see it, but covered up all the connectors. Then the excess wire coming from the light bar, I just folded up and then I zip tied to that. And then here's my one wire that's my excess, and I just zip tied it up over here to the side, and I left the tail on it real long so that way I can easily identify it. But I'll cut it later whenever we go to hook up our reverse lights in the bumper. That's coming shortly. Everything's tucked up nice and out of the way. It's protected by the bumper, and once we get the other lights hooked up, then that wire will be more out of the way, and then we'll be good to go. So that way we don't have to worry about dragging it off when we're going out and about. So now we're going to go on the outside and take a look at the finished product, what it looks like. Okay, so that's the install of the OPT-7 Tailgate Light Bar. This thing's super bright. It works really well. I've had it on several of my vehicles that I've had before. What I really like about it is the reverse portion. Even though we do have upgraded LEDs from Diode Dynamics in the tail light housing, this guy will add just a ton more light. So if you have really dark windows like we do in the Bison, then this is one thing that I would highly recommend. Also, I mean, it gives more light for safety reasons day and night. It just makes you more visible. I really like it. We'll put a link to the description in the bottom. Please do me a favor, go ahead and click on that link and go to OPT-7's website and purchase it. I believe they are doing a, what holiday is this? Labor Day, Memorial Day? They're doing a sale right now, I believe of 20% off. So if you get in on it this weekend, then you'll get to save some extra money. Thanks for watching. Let us know how we're doing.